Hi, people. Hi, fans. Hi, people all over the world. I hope. This is Larry Hankin, and I'm on Harris is Drinking Again.
Harry's drinking again.
We are up in an early morning edition with a very special guest, Mr. Larry Hankin, who I'm going to bring on here in just a moment. You've seen him in shows like Breaking Bad, Friends, Seinfeld, Malcolm in the Middle. The list goes on and on and on. I do not take this interview lightly. I appreciate you, sir.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate this interview also.
This is Harris's Drinking Again. We usually do a very late show. Have you had a chance to have your Baileys and coffee this morning yet? Or?
Well, I have. I planned ahead. I knew I was going to do this show.
To some of my listeners, viewership that may not know, they've seen your face. They know the shows, the history that you've been in. But can you give a breakdown of your background for those who may not know and some of the...
Well, my background, I'm from Far Rockaway. That's about as background as you can get. I went to Syracuse University, and then as I have a degree in industrial design. So that's where it all started. I just didn't like it. I went to college for my parents' sake. I was a good child. I wanted to be a good boy. But once I finished college, that was it for me in family life. I just split for Greenwich Village, as a matter of fact. And I started out as a stand-up comedian on open mic nights, which to this day is the best time of my life. I mean, in show business, it was great because the audience, I don't know, open mic night audiences, in coffee houses in Greenwich Village anyway, are great because they have no expectations. It's an open mic night. Well, you're not going to see Peter, Paul, and Mary. You're not going to see Clint Eastwood. You're going to see people who are trying to make you laugh. Developed a stand-up act, and then I did that for a while, but I got into critical thinking, Richie Pryor, George Carlin, Lenny Bruce. And I wasn't ready for the blowback, man. I just didn't even know about it. I mean, I didn't know that audience could come at you with beer bottles, man. Get the fuck off the stage. What? What? I wasn't,
Was this because you were working like a lot of black clubs at the time, and you were?
No, these were like, I was opening for Kingston Trio, and a guy comes across. It was just a nightclub, in Boston, outside of Boston, suburbs of Boston, and it was snowing out. I remember that. So there was not that many people in the club, even though it was an opening night, Friday night. But there was, maybe 12, 15 people. It was really a big snowstorm outside. And I did my stuff. You got your hunks, your 5-minute hunks, your 10-minute hunks. And I started to talk about religion. And all of a sudden I could hear it from the darkness. Because, when you're on a stage, the lights are in your eyes. You can't see out past the dance floor in a nightclub. And bring on the Kingston Trio. And I go, yeah, but 10 more minutes to do my act, and then they'll be on. Don't worry about it. Bring on. And so I got back into the religion thing, and then bring on the Kingston Trio. And then I just didn't listen. I just kept going. And the guy said, get the fuck off the stage. And I go, what? And hey, wait a minute, and then I see this guy, this big bohunk guy, man, with a beer bottle in his upside down in his fist, saying, I said, get off the stage. You got it, man. I just split. Go ahead. What were we gonna say?
Just say it wasn't no heavy security back then, probably.
Well, I went over to the bar. I got off the stage and went over to the bar. And I just sat down, I've been here all the time, man. I don't know what's going on. And the bartender comes over to me and he says, get back on the stage. And the Kingston Trio is not coming on for 10 minutes. I said, did you see that guy come at me with a beer bottle? Man, I'm not going out there until you tell him to get out of here or talk to him. He said, no, I'm not talking to anybody. You get back on the stage. And I said, I want to see the bouncer, my safety net, my security. I said, where's the bouncer? And he said, I'm the bouncer. Get back on stage. So I said, no, I'm not until you talk to that guy. So he said, if you don't get back on the stage, you're fired. And I said, fine, man, I quit, you know. And he says, okay, you're fired. And I just walked out into a snowstorm. So I had to come back into the club to ask to use the phone so I could call a cab.
You know, Larry, I gotta tell you, I'm a big fan. I mean, you know, you're Mr. Heckles and Friends, you know, and you played Tom Peppers in Seinfeld.
Whoa, yeah.
And let's see, I did my homework. And the reason why I'm getting all, you know, starstruck right now, Larry, is because like when you were with the old Joe from Breaking Bad, that whole scene with, oh my gosh, that was like the U-Haul with the batteries, and that's amazing. You know, you have that.
I guess, I mean, there's nothing you can do about, you know, what you're born with. But
hey, you know what?
I guess that's true. I mean, you know, people reckon I have these little cameo roles in a lot of things, and people go, "Hey, I saw you in blah blah blah." Like,
yeah,
I was on screen for like maybe 20 seconds, 40 seconds, and that's great, man. Well, I got a little story about that. That was really funny about AIDS.
Please tell, dude.
What? AIDS? Yeah, I was the guy who fixed the taxis, right?
Right.
Okay. So
you know what? I just know you by face, Larry. I don't fucking know. When I see him, I know that guy, and now we're talking to him. What the?
But anyway, he had his car drive up, a limo. So I don't know how. I guess they sent it, but they sent his car with his chauffeur to where we were shooting, so he could get in his car and drive back to shelter. So I said, hey, man, what about I said to the director, I said, hey, man, what about us? I mean, are you going to send any cars for us? I mean, we got to walk back through the mud and the rain, and he gets in a car. So he said, well, ride with him, you know, like walking. So I just took that as gospel. Okay, I'll ride with him. So as the car is starting to pull away, I just opened the back door and I got in with him. He was like shocked, and he goes, what are you doing in here? I go, well, you know, it's raining out.
It's raining outside. You got a car? Yeah, common sense, right?
He says, hey, man, this is my car. I go, wow, man, this is like a star. You know, like, this is my car. I said, yeah, but, I mean, it's empty. Can I ride with you? And he goes,
yeah.
I'll tell you what. No, he didn't say yeah. What he did was very, very, quote, clever. He said, I'll tell you what. Let both of us walk. And he wanted to get out my side. She said, get out. I got out and he got out. And we both walked. I mean,
wow.
The insanity of stardom just blows my mind.
Say if we were to ask like 3 or 4 of your colleagues, you know, at whatever you would consider the height of your stardom, whether it be the 70s, 80s, what would they kind of say, you know, about Larry, you know, during that time? Were you the party guy? You still more of just...
Well, they probably wouldn't even remember me, even though what you say, oh, you can remember your face and you're a good actor. No, here's how it works. I've been in a lot of things. I mean, really a lot of things, more I think than anybody else. And that's from IMDb, it's not me. But in those days, it's an accumulation. So in other words, if you all these kids who are my fans now, they're not kids anymore. They're like 30s and 40s. So they have over accumulation of seeing me and all these things that they watched, I started to register as, oh, there's that guy, man. And then when I would walk down the street, they say, hey, were you in, I grew up watching you, is what they say. So it's an accumulation. So back then in the 70s and 80s, I might not have been impinged on their retina yet as a continuing person who just shows up all the time. So
Oh,
I
so
would,
you folks really shot that in Alcatraz.
oh man, yeah, we were there for 3 months. Just getting
I'm
up
originally
there.
from the Bay Area, Larry. So I've been to
Oh,
Alcatraz. I
right,
don't
yeah.
know. Every single
Well,
time someone's visiting, I've been to the Alcatraz.
well, do you
Not a very
remember?
big place.
Oh yeah, remember when the Indians took it over? Were you there
No.
really in San Francisco? Well, the Indians
Oh well,
took it
it's.
over. That was in the
Oh
60s.
really?
The 60s. Yeah, so they took it
Oh.
over. I mean, they actually went out there one night. This is before it was guarded or whatever. But the Indians, the local California Indians, I don't know the
California,
tribe.
yeah. Right.
They went out there. I mean, a whole group of them, maybe about 100. They went out there one night in boats, and they just got inside the prison, and they stayed there, and they wouldn't get out, and there was a whole big deal. Anyway, when I was on when we were on Alcatraz shooting, this was in the 70s, I had a whole day where I wasn't on call, but I would go every day, and in costume, and because Don Siegel would always say, "I need a guy. Larry, get in this shot." I would say 50% to 80% of the movie, of the scenes that I were in, weren't written for me. I was put in the scene by Don Siegel. Hey, Larry, get in the scene. So I was always ready. So I always wore a costume. Just for that reason, I would hang around the set because I wanted to watch. So I was there, and he'd go, "Larry, get in the set." That was the thing with the chess. He'd say, "Get in there in the background. What am I doing? It doesn't matter. Get in there." So I got a chessboard and I'm playing checkers. And he went, "Wow, wow, wow." So he was the one that was loud. I would just do something, and then the director would go, "Wait, hold it, Hankin, what are you doing?" And I tell him, he says, "Oh no, it's okay, fine. All right, let's go back." So, but the Indians. One day I had nothing to do, and I just wanted to check out the Alcatraz and the island, so I didn't care. So I went up and I got a flashlight from what do you call it? The prop department. They moved Warner Brothers moved an entire prop department out onto the island, so we wouldn't have to send boats back and forth. So I went to the prop department and I said, "Give me a flashlight with batteries. Got to be usable." "Oh, what for?" "Oh, I'm doing it in the scene." "Oh, okay, fine." So then I went down and I started to go down. I just wanted to go down and see how far I could get down inside this Alcatraz. There's no lights in there. Luckily I had the flashlight. And I found out where the Indians did their rituals. And they had painted the walls in this dark place. With my flashlight, I just went along one wall. And there was these paintings, these Indian paintings of horses running, of chiefs, of teepees, and then cop cars and policemen, and then more teepees and horses. Because, they got the whole gestalt of what was going on in San Francisco during those days. And they had built fires down there, which there was no windows, so I don't know where the smoke went. I don't know how the hell, but you could see smoke. The black smoke that kind of gets on walls if there's a fire.
Right.
So there was
Right.
these black stuff covering some of the paintings. But this space was like, it went on forever. I shined the flashlight out into the darkness, and there was no other wall. It just went into darkness. And the whole Alcatraz, which was above me, was held up by these big cement poles about every 20 feet. But hey, the 60 was pretty good in San Francisco.
Oh, really? I bet you. Talking about the 60s, Larry. Wait a minute. I'm checking you out over here. Okay, nice head of hair, and kind of read a little about you. You're what, 80 something years old? 80.
I'm 83, man.
You're 83. So I mean, my dad was 83. He just passed away 2020. God, rest in peace.
Yeah, I'm ready.
And I go, what is the secret? Because I'm 55 and I want to be like you. I'm
Yeah,
like,
well, here's the difference. I mean, first of all, DNA. Then there's attitude. You know, I just have
attitude.
I was born with a positive attitude. And the second thing is there's a difference between growing old and growing older. I chose to get older.
Right.
Your dad probably just got old.
Well, my dad, I tell you what, my dad was a comedian. He was a comedian, you know. He's a
Don't park your truck in my driveway. Park out on the street.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah, because you know, crying at the end of movies.
Don't. No, you don't.
I wish you're selling.
Oh.
You will have enough. Anyway, listen, guys, I gotta go.
We just really appreciate making this connection and you blessing Harris's Drinking again with this conversation, man.
Anytime.
Thank you.
Rock on, guys.
That's a wrap.
Thank you.
Harry's drinking again.